Here's how to increase GLP1 naturally for fat loss, especially as women over 50 and no Ozempic is necessary. And how do we do that? That's what we're going to get into today. Hi, I'm Lori Ballou, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, here to help guide you to reclaim your health, to lose weight naturally, so that you can live your best life and reclaim the second half of your life so that you can have the body, the brain, and the energy that you want to live with. And how do we get that? Well, this is what we want to focus on. This is what I do to help my clients get healthy, lose the weight, and live the life that they want to have. All of this is so exciting to me. And one of the things that I've been studying more is about the GLP1. A lot of people know about Ozempic, Wegovy. All of those are drugs that really don't solve the long-term solution of fat loss. Because what happens with those drugs is they do decrease your appetite. They do reduce insulin in the meantime, but not all the way down the way it's supposed to. It drops your blood glucose, but it doesn't really lower your insulin levels down to where they should be on a regular basis. And it's something you can only do temporarily. Most people are actually only doing it maybe up to a year, and then that's all they can stand because it makes you sick. You're nauseous all the time. You just don't feel good, and you can't enjoy eating. And so a lot of people just will stop after a year. And then the other thing is, if you go beyond a year, from what I'm hearing, is that what's happening with those Ozempics in people who are using them for weight control too is that your body stops losing weight and gets used to it and still can gain weight. You're going to lower your metabolism. And what's happening too is you're losing your lean mass. You're losing your bones and your muscle. And when you lose your bones and your muscle, you're losing your basal metabolic rate. So all of that is happening. Now, if it's saving your life and you need to do this temporarily, you know what? Those could be the benefits of it. That was what it was designed for. It was designed for diabetics who couldn't get their appetite under control, who needed support. That's what it's for. I wouldn't say that it's for fat loss per se. When you're just trying to be healthy after 50, when you're trying to get the weight loss under control and you don't want to keep gaining weight. Now that you're in menopause, you're more insulin resistant, you're gaining weight, you just don't feel good. Your diet's caught up with you over a lifetime. I've done it, but I was carb dominant most of my life because that's the rhetoric that's told to us. Those are the skinny narratives and the myths that are out there saying how we should lose the weight and what we should do. And, I did all of that. It didn't work long term. And it's hard to fight hunger. It's hard to turn off our appetite and be satiated because we have the hormonal urge to eat, to not be in starvation, to be able to thrive. But we have to actually tune into the right diet that's right for our body, eat the right carbs for our body so that we could actually program our body with the right nutrition and the right information for our health. And I do help women lose weight, especially over 50. But the bottom line overall is you get to reclaim the second half of your life. You get to reverse insulin resistance and get yourself off the disease path and back into living, off that cliff edge, back into living again. And stop gaining weight after 50, but bring your health back. This requires us to eat less processed carbs. I was listening to Dr. Ben Bikman just recently on one of his presentations, and one of the things that he talks about is that only about 12% of people are actually metabolically fit and healthy individuals. Most people, 88%, are unhealthy, have insulin resistance, and are eating a carb-heavy diet that's causing them dysfunction. So if you have pain in your body, take a look at your diet. I mean, you could have a mechanical issue. I have some tennis elbow that I just started tennis, so it came on right after that. There could be a little bit of inflammation and there's some food sensitivities. I do need to tighten up things a little bit, but what we want to do on a regular basis to biohack our health is to think outside the box, to look at our body, to read our body, to find out what's going on with our body. Now, what's interesting for me, I had some keto ice cream the other day, one of those Rebel ice creams. I was just at the store and I don't know, just grabbed one. Haven't had any in a year. And what's really interesting about that, you guys, is I have a dairy sensitivity. It's actually a red sensitivity, and I will always have this sensitivity. It's never going to go away. I've had a lot of mucus congestion over my life. I've had depression from food sensitivities. And here's what I noticed after that evening when I went to bed after eating that ice cream. And I didn't have it that late in the day. I had it around 3 o'clock. But it raised my heart rate by well over 10 points, tanked my heart rate variability down into 18. It raised my temperature. And every time I have a quantity of dairy like that, that's what I see. And if I didn't have my Oura ring, I wouldn't have noticed that because my sleep was fine other than that. And I did notice some extra hot flashes. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because we need to be able to really look at our lifestyle as a biohacking and what we can do to correct our health and actually go out and be a hunter and bring the food home that's going to keep our bodies healthy. When I go shopping, what I look at is how I cannot poison myself with the food system that's out there, because so many things are in boxes with bar tags, and those could be the carbs that are going to raise our blood sugar. And what we want to do naturally to correct the GLP-1 in our body, to turn off our appetite, is to eat less processed, ultra-processed foods, less things in a box, and eat more whole food at home. And this would include your vegetables and your animal fats and your good animal proteins. What is going to slow down gastric emptying, increase your GLP-1 more naturally for better insulin management and more satiation? Soluble fiber, like PGX, chia in your vegetables, protein from animals, and saturated fat actually has no insulin response in your body. The whole idea is to reduce the insulin response in your body so that you are not overburdening your insulin levels, not overburdening your pancreas, not overburdening your liver, so your body can work the way it was designed. But we have to give our body information by the food choices that we make. And if we want to not gain weight after 50 and have a slender body and feel good when we have to put on a dress to go out for a special occasion, and we want to do that, we want to look forward to that, then how can we increase GLP-1 naturally for that weight management? So we want to look at things that are like GLP-1 activators in our body, because that is something that happens in our body. But when you're eating a lot of processed carbohydrates, that's going to stall out and not function. And so then you're always going to have your hunger switch turned on, your sugar switch is turned on. Eating processed food, it makes you hungrier. What makes you less hungry is when you eat the fat and protein the way we're designed to help turn off your appetite and turn off your insulin response in the body, so you're less insulin resistant. So low carb diet, like my holistic low carb lifestyle that I am living and how I support my clients with my holistic low carb method, is something where you create GLP-1 more naturally by eating the fats and the proteins to do this, bringing in carbohydrates, soluble fibers to satiation, and building the lifestyle, your low carb lifestyle that's going to work for you. These are the things that we want to do. The goal is to slow down gastric emptying with food that takes longer to digest, but at the same time, digesting these foods, because that's the other half of this, is if you can't digest your food, you can't get the nutrients into your body if your gut is inflamed. So this is the other side of it. And although this subject is on GLP-1 and I'm trying to stay on track here, I am looking at the overall picture because that's how I work. Yes, we want to create GLP-1 naturally. Yes, we want to slow down gastric emptying, eat more fat and protein, get more soluble fiber so we feel full and are more satiated, because you can't outrun hunger. And at the end of the day, our willpower is less existent, and you will give in to foods to eat, and because you're hungry. I mean, that's how it is. You got to turn off the hunger. And so the GLP-1 naturally, it's not that we need Ozempic. Ozempic's a drug. You need it if your life is dependent upon it. But if your life is not dependent upon it, what you could look at otherwise, and to have a healthier lifestyle overall, is to have, I'm trying to get my light right, is to have food as information to your body so that you can live the life that you want to have. But you have to look at this as something you get to do. This is not restrictive. This is not really hard. It's hard when you first make the decision because it's scary, because it's different, because other people around you are not doing it. But you get to blaze the trail, and you could be the first person in your group of people in your family that's making the change so that you can demonstrate to them that this is a change that's going to work for them too, and that you can all get healthy without a drug, without Ozempic or Wegovy, and create GLP-1 naturally in your body to get healthy all at once. To do that, you'll have to actually make the choice to be healthy by changing your food system from ultra-processed foods. All those 70% carbohydrates, Ben Bikman says, is making everybody insulin resistant. If you eat those foods, you will be insulin resistant. What happens when you're insulin resistant? Oh my gosh, it's just about everything. It is a metabolic dysfunction, which includes high blood pressure, high blood glucose. What's the other ones? I wrote it all down because I've been studying this. It's the whole metabolic dysfunction. Everything that's happening inside our body when we're getting cardiovascular risk because of too much sugar in the body, all of that is starting to go up. You're getting that higher blood pressure. You're getting higher blood glucose. You could be having migraines. You can be, if you're younger, you might have PCOS. You're going to have a hormone dysfunction, and your body's not going to work. You're going to have fatty liver. And you could have, for women it's PCOS. For men it's more testosterone dysfunction, which however you want to say that one. But the goal here is to control your carbs, and to do a little fasting, and to get back to nature the way, if you look back at the way everybody used to eat before the 1950s, and in the past, people used to eat 3 meals a day, maybe 2 meals a day. And they didn't eat snack. They eat lots of fat and protein, maybe had a little bit of sugar, maybe had a little wheat, but it wasn't the basis of the diet. This protected us from having metabolic dysfunction. It protected us from having heart disease. Heart disease wasn't even a thing before the 1900s. It's all new. Autoimmunity wasn't a thing before the 1950s. It's all new. And what's different? Vegetable seed oils, that 70% of carbohydrates into the diet that we've been told to eat, the lack of good fat, because you're now eating seed oils, and you're not eating as much protein as the body needs. Now, we are animal-based bodies. We need amino acids to function and to create energy. If we're not getting this energy to create fatty acids for our mitochondria, you're going to have more dysfunction. So most of those 9% of these diseases that we're having in our diet, in our lifestyle, are all preventable. And they start with insulin resistance. And so the way to correct that is to bring in the GLP-1 naturally, to get more animal fats, more protein, more soluble fiber, to correct the type of diet that we're eating, to create a low carb lifestyle so that we could do this naturally and lose weight naturally so that we could feel great in our body. This is what you want to think about. GLP-1 management for better insulin. So many people are battling insulin resistance and hunger. And, it might make you feel good in the moment to eat carbohydrates. But this is how I look at it. Create a food bridge. This is my concept that I've been developing. This food bridge concept, and using the holistic low carb method, keep everything low carb. If you want to have a snack, make it with allulose. Allulose is a natural GLP-1 activator in the body. And if you don't want to be full-on keto, full-on carnivore, that's okay too. Those are choices. We do what we need to do to correct the health in our body. I didn't start that way. I am more keto carnivore now. But right now I'm in my baking season because that's also part of my business, is helping people understand using low carb, using the food bridges to help them build a low carb lifestyle that's going to make you feel good and help you be sustainable in changing this diet lifestyle process. A lot of people will go low carb or keto and then they fall off because what do? You eat on a vacation, you go out to a party, you eat the thing, you eat the wheat, you eat the sugar, and then all of a sudden all your cravings come back. This is raising your insulin levels, creating more glucose load on the body, reduces your GLP-1, makes you hungrier, you flip the sugar switch on, and so then you fall off, and it's harder every time to try to get back on track. But what if you could make some food rules and you go gluten-free and you call yourself sugar-free and you don't eat the things that have the sugar and you don't eat the things that have the wheat? You don't need them. They're completely not essential. And, we don't even need fruit. Fruit is also non-essential. What we do need is animal fat, and we need animal protein. Those are essential. We need minerals. Those are essential. Soluble fiber can make you feel good and slow down gastric emptying and help with hunger. But fiber isn't specifically essential. What we need are amino acids. They're essential. Did you know your body makes 80% of the cholesterol that comes in that for your body? If you don't eat cholesterol, your body will make it. That's how essential cholesterol is. It's not something we're supposed to stop, reduce, or get rid of because it creates our hormones. And your D3, which is your nutrient that you need to thrive, to have immunity, is not going to function without cholesterol in our body. Your brain your brain doesn't operate without fat. Your brain has fat. And so without the fat, the cholesterol in our diet, we're not healthy. And so you want to look at this as a whole process, a whole body process to correct body health, to lose the weight, feel good in your body. And one of the things you can do is get yourself on a low-carb diet and let it save your life like it did mine. Saved my life. And that's why I'm here today on a Sunday afternoon doing this video for you, because I want you to know that with the baking season coming, you don't have to eat the wheat and the sugar. You could use things like allulose to help create GLP-1 naturally. So Ben Bickman is stating, a lot of people have done the studies, they're showing the studies that this increases your GLP-1 by 70%. That's a lot. How would you like to feel better in your body and still eat something that's a little bit sweet because you're not ready to go without the sweet? That's okay. I'm not judging anybody for where they're at. But if you want to get control of your life and live a life that you want to not feel, feel uncomfortable in your body because you weigh more than you want to weigh, and you want to go to parties and wear a beautiful dress and you just can't even fit into your dress, those things are heartbreaking. I've been there. I've done that. To this day, I can pull open my closet behind me and pull out a beautiful dress and it can fit and I can feel good in my body. But that's not where I was. I used to weigh 225 pounds. And a lot of people do. And a lot of people weigh more now because this was, in my mid-30s. And I'm 61 now. So this was good 25 years ago that this was happening. And people weigh more now because it's worse now. So much processed food. 88% of people are unhealthy and have insulin resistance. I'm part of the 12% now because I made a diet change and choice to be healthy. But I was so grateful to find my health solution, my weight loss and diabetes solution that saved my life, which low-carb living, because it creates that GLP-1 naturally. I didn't need Ozempic to do this. And I have permanent benefits and permanent weight loss and permanent health because I live this lifestyle. It's not a diet. When you go on Ozempic or Wegovy, it is a temporary solution that doesn't give you the health you're looking for. It depletes your muscle, it depletes your bone mass. You lose lean body tissue. You're just sick all the time and nauseated, but if you're feeling good on it, oh my gosh, that's great too. But it's not going to be the final solution. The biggest solution that you want to go towards is eating a low-carb diet, which is a permanent solution. You could live like that and thrive. That's how the body was designed, to eat fat and protein and to eat some soluble fibers, some vegetables. That was the way we were designed. If there's starvation and you could find honey and you were not obese, then honey was okay because it helped you get and survive, create some fat in the body. It made you fat, like fruit makes you fat. Then you're able to survive starvation. That was the way we were designed. But it wasn't for food that we're to eat every day, 24/7, 360 days out of the year. That makes you obese. And I was there. I was eating all the things. The donuts. I was addicted to them. Carbohydrates are addictive. It's a very addictive source. But when we can use a sweetener substitute like erythritol and monk fruit, I've been there. I don't blame anybody for doing that. I still do that to this day if I want a keto cookie. But what I'm going to experiment more with is using allulose. And so come experiment with me as well. Because if you can use an organic allulose, which is a cleaner on the market that is regulated by the RX company, that's the one that I'm going to use. And yes, it's an investment. It's going to be an investment in you and your health. It's not going to be cheap like processed sugars that are, really cheap. But then you're damaging your body when you eat those. Vegetable seed oils are toxic. You damage your body when you eat those cheap oils. Allulose has to be created. It's a rare sugar, and it's depleted in the urine, but it doesn't actually absorb and raise your blood glucose, and it's been shown on CGMs to not raise your blood glucose like protein and fat. So this is why a low-carb diet also works, because you're increasing that GLP-1 and you're actually reducing your appetite. Allulose can help you feel full faster, create that GLP-1, and you can use that in baking along with coconut flour and almond flour. Use those as the food bridges to have, in the beginning we need a little bit of variety, a little bit of satiation. When we're not quite ready to just eat the fat and the protein, we need to correct our gut health. And we need to improve digestion. If you're not digesting the food you're eating, you're going to feel stalled out because you're hungrier and you're not going to have the neurotransmitters you need to have to function. These are things I'm noticing with my clients and people I work with, that yes, you could eat protein and maybe you could be on a carnivore diet, but some of the times that might be too fast to get in a full restricted diet that way. Not necessarily restrictive, but it's more of an elimination diet. And you could feel really good eliminating all the foods that are making you feel like you're sick. That's what it's for. And a lot of people love to live there. But if you're not ready to just go full on keto carnivore, start low carb, make your food rules, bring in allulose, bring in the GLP-1 naturally, turn off your appetite, satiate your body so you can feel good and get the brain energy you need to make the lifestyle changes that you want to have. That's what you want to focus on. Let these foods regulate your appetite so you don't overeat. It's pretty exciting to know that we can reduce our hunger, have satiety, and feel good about our body and thrive. That's what we want to do. We want to have overall better metabolic health. When you don't have metabolic health, you're in risk for diabetes, Alzheimer's, cancers, heart disease. Fatty liver is part of that. So many of those dysfunctions because of insulin resistance and poor metabolic health, because of the food that we're choosing to eat. And so when you get knowledge, if you're listening to this and you're getting knowledge and you're finding this helpful, like and subscribe as well, because I'm here for you. Leave me a question. Let me know you're excited about this information. What questions do you have? And what are you going to bake with allulose? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm actually going to be having a holiday boutique where I'm going to be baking some keto cookies with allulose. And I'm going to talk about it with the people who come to my table. And I'm going to give out my brochure. And, I've got a new webinar coming up December 8th. And I am doing these monthly right now, just one a month. So the next one's December 8th. So that you can get excited about lifestyle changes. And whether you work with me or not, or do this DIY, that's the choice that you get to make. But I do help my clients implement the holistic low carb method, runs up to 3 to 6 diagnostic labs to find your hidden healing opportunities and look for those weight loss blocks so that I could help you put your body back together again like Humpty Dumpty. And it's work. It is, sometimes we pull in supplements. Basically, yes, I'm going to look for things that are not going right and support you naturally with supplements that are going to target specifically what's going on in your body. And we're going to look at your food sensitivities and take away the foods that are causing an inflammatory response in your gut so we can heal and seal your gut naturally and get rid of any pathogens and bacterial overgrowth that is causing a problem. You can't always just do that with food. You need to figure out what's going on and do a temporary fix and then fine-tune your diet and lifestyle. But one of the things that you can get excited about is just getting in action to use things that are going to actually support your metabolic health and increase GLP-1 naturally for weight loss. Not just overall body loss like Ozempic and Wegovy do, which ruins your muscles and ruins your bones. And if you're doing that over 50, you know how hard it is to build muscle? When we're over 50 and our hormones are low, it's really hard. You don't want to lose your muscle. That is your longevity factor. Your bones and your muscle are longevity factors that we want to maintain. So we want to create and activate GLP-1 naturally by eating more animal fat. Saturated fat is good for us, you guys. It creates better brains and it gives you that D3 that you want. It's your D3 that you create in your body with usage of cholesterol is different from a D3 you take as a pill. You need to activate it with sunlight and not block that sunlight. It's not about getting sunburned. It's not about being outside all day and turning into a lobster. It's about practical sun exposure that works for your body and for your skin tone. And so these are all things that are the holistic side of the low carb lifestyle that I focus on because that's what's been helping me live the life that I wanted to live and not be obese and not have to struggle with being frustrated, having worry that I'm going to die in the middle of the night because I'm not breathing right or I have heart disease. But I track a lot of things with my Oura ring and I could see that what I'm eating could be creating a heart disruption. I've seen that, and then I know better. And those are choices that we can make if we know we're going to react to something. Like I have ice cream once or twice a year because I know it's going to react to my body. And then I forget, and then I do it again, and then I'll see it. But we don't want to gain weight after 50. And we want to increase that GLP-1 naturally to be satiated and lose our appetite so that we don't feel hungry. The whole idea with food is to not feel hungry. We don't want to have to be at the store all day long or in the kitchen fixing food all day long. We want to eat to satiation and be out and go out and do our hobbies and stay active and have longevity, feel good in our body, be able to wear beautiful clothes that make us feel good. Those are the goals that we want to have, but you have to have GLP-1 management for better insulin management to reduce all of that storm that we have in our body, to correct our insulin and glucose management. So when you have that 70% carbohydrate load in your body and you're creating insulin, there's so much insulin being created all day long. You're overworking your pancreas. You're storing fat in the liver. You're getting fatty liver, and your body is trying to store all this all over the body, and it can't manage it. You're hyperinsulinic, and you become insulin resistant. That is the precursor to cancer, guys. You don't want cancer, you need to turn it off. And don't be afraid of cancer per se as much as you need to be afraid of heart disease. And what creates that heart disease? Same thing. Too many carbohydrates in the diet that create a glucose load on your body. So eating the food that creates your GLP-1 naturally to turn off that hunger and the appetite corrects these things. So don't be afraid of low carb lifestyle. Come and get it implemented. Come work with me. I also am going to be releasing my recipe book. It's the Food Bridge Process. It's your survival guide to low carb dieting. Those are some of my comfort foods that I used in the beginning. This is going to be my Black Friday special. So stay tuned for that. So excited to offer this. And then in December, I'm going to be releasing my starting guide that I normally just give to clients. And that's going to be available. So I'm super excited to have both of these coming out. And I know you can do it. I'm not special. I did it. I did it because I needed to save my life. And I did save my life. And here comes the kitty cat. This is Missy. All right, guys. You've got this. Give me a call and we'll talk soon. All right. Take care. Bye.